Okay, what if I told you the real secret to building wealth isn't about hustling harder or having crazy discipline, but about being, well, lazy? I know, it sounds totally backward, right? But today, we're going to dive into this amazing system that lets you get rich the smart way by putting your money on complete autopilot. Seriously, just think about that for a second. What would it feel like to have a financial life where you're not constantly checking your bank account, or feeling that little pang of guilt every time you spend money, or just worrying if you're saving enough? Well, that's not some fantasy. It's totally possible with the right system. And that's exactly what we're going to build together, step by step. All right, so let's get right into it. Why is this money stuff so hard for so many of us? Well, the problem is that most of the financial advice out there relies on something that we just don't have an endless supply of: willpower. You know the drill. We're told to budget every penny, cut back on everything, and just always make the perfect decision. But honestly, after a long day at work, who has the mental energy for all that? And this right here, this is the core idea for everything we're talking about today. A good system means you don't have to be some kind of financial superhero every single day. Nope. You just make a few smart decisions once, set it up, and then that system just works for you in the background 24/7. It's all about being strategic instead of just trying to be disciplined all the time. You can see the difference so clearly here. Over on the left, you've got the old way. You know, that constant grind of tracking every single penny, the stress, the relying on willpower, which, let's be real, eventually runs out. But on the right, that's our goal: an automated system that gives you peace of mind, all built on a handful of smart, one-time decisions. Okay, so how do we actually build this thing? Well, step one is all about creating what we'll call a money pipeline. Just think of it like an automated control center for your cash. It directs your income exactly where it needs to go, all without you having to lift a finger once it's set up. And here's the whole system laid out in a super simple flow. Check this out. First, your paycheck hits your checking account. Then, and this is key, on that very same day, money automatically gets pushed out. First, it goes to your savings goals, then to your investments. After that, it pays your bills, and the money that's left, that, my friends, is yours to spend completely and totally guilt-free. So the real trick here is to stop thinking of your checking account as a place to just hold your money. Instead, think of it as a traffic director, right? Money comes in and your automated rules immediately send it right back out to do its job. It's just a temporary pit stop, not the final destination. You've probably heard the phrase, pay yourself first, right? Well, this is that principle in action on steroids. Before you can even think about spending that paycheck, a chunk of it is already whisked away into your savings. And that's how you effortlessly build an emergency fund, save for a down payment, or fund that dream vacation without ever having to try to save. The system just does it for you. Okay, now this is the real engine of building wealth the lazy way: automating your investments. We're talking about sending money to your retirement accounts or to low-cost index funds, which is basically just a simple way to own a tiny piece of the entire stock market. This is how you really put your money to work. It makes sure you're consistently buying assets that can grow over time, letting compound interest do its magic, while you are literally sleeping. And this is the best part, the beautiful results of this whole pipeline. Whatever money is left in your checking account, it's all yours to enjoy. You never have to ask yourself, can I afford this? Because you know for a fact that all the important work is already done. The saving, the investing, the bill paying, it's handled. That is what financial freedom actually feels like. All right, so we've automated all the hard stuff. Now for the fun part. This is not about creating some restrictive, miserable budget. No way. This is about designing what's called a conscious spending plan. It's basically a framework for spending lavishly on the things you absolutely love, and then cutting costs without mercy on the stuff you just don't care about. And this chart here gives you a really great framework to start with. So the goal is to have about 50 to 60% of your take-home pay cover your fixed costs, rent, utilities, the boring stuff. Then you've got about 10% going to investments, another 5 to 10% to savings, and look at this, that leaves a huge 20 to 35% chunk for your guilt-free spending. That's your money for restaurants, hobbies, travel, whatever makes you happy. I really want this to sink in. This system is not designed to restrict you. It's designed to set you free. It is a plan that literally gives you permission to spend and enjoy your money because you already know that your future is being taken care of automatically. It's so easy to get bogged down in the tiny stuff, right? Like agonizing over a $5 coffee. This next step is all about learning to ignore that noise and instead focusing on the big wins. We're talking about the handful of decisions that can have a massive, outsized impact on your finances. And this is such a powerful mindset shift. Seriously. Instead of wasting energy feeling guilty about small pleasures, you redirect that same energy toward a few key moves that can be worth thousands and thousands of dollars. It's the classic case of working smarter, not harder, with your money. So, what exactly is a big win? Well, think about it like this. Negotiating just one 5% raise could be worth thousands of extra dollars every single year for the rest of your career. Or refinancing a high-interest loan could save you hundreds of bucks every month. These are things that might take a few hours of work one time, but they pay off way, way more than skipping a coffee ever will. So you've built your pipeline. You've created your conscious spending plan. You've even snagged a few big wins. Now what? Now you let go. You trust the system you built, and you just let it run in the background. This is where the lazy part really finally kicks in. And just imagine that feeling. Your financial goals are now officially on autopilot. Your wealth is growing, your bills are getting paid on time, and your savings are stacking up, all without you having to constantly mess with it. Your money is finally working for you instead of you always feeling like you're working for it. Now, this might actually be the hardest part for some of you, but it is so important. How often should you be checking your accounts? Once a month. That's it. Just a quick check-in to make sure everything is running smoothly. This is how you break that cycle of financial anxiety and obsessively checking your bank balance, and it lets you get back to actually living your life. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. This whole thing isn't some secret hack or a weird trick. It's a fundamental principle of how wealth is actually built. The most successful people are not managing their money manually day in and day out. They design smart, automated systems that do all the heavy lifting for them. So if there's just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this. Your goal is to build systems, not stress. Engineer that anxiety right out of your financial life by building something reliable that you can actually trust. And that brings us to the end, so I want to leave you with a question. Don't feel like you have to do all of this at once. Just ask yourself, what is the first transfer you can automate right now? Maybe it's just $50 to your savings account, or maybe $100 to an investment account. Just taking that one small step is all it takes to get this whole powerful flywheel spinning. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share this with someone you know who's looking to improve their financial life. It really helps a lot. See you next time.